People initially assumed that the reason the captain was pitching forward so much from the very beginning was because he was feeling the onset of somatogravic illusion, but the investigators of this final report disagrees with that. Because he was likely visual for the first few seconds of the go-around, it is unlikely that he would have felt the onset of this illusion at the very start. But as the aircraft now entered clouds and all visual outside cues were lost, it is very possible that the somatographic illusion now kicked in and added to the already disoriented state of the captain. The aircraft was now flying through 3,350 feet with a pitch of around 10 degrees nose up, full thrust and a speed of 210 knots. It's possible that the captain now started feeling tired in his left arm from all of the pushing and therefore decided to start trimming forward. And he did so for the next 12 seconds. And that's without returning the yoke back towards its neutral position. Since the flaps were still extended, this allowed the trim to move at the highest possible rate, and together with this constant forward push, the pitch now moved forward with a speed of almost 6 degrees per second, tilting the aircraft violently towards the ground. This caused everyone on board to initially experience weightlessness and then negative G's, which would have pushed everyone up against their seatbelts and caused anything that wasn't properly tied down to be pushed up into the roof. This included the pilots, who were now likely feeling something that they had never been trained for. Now, it is possible that the captain was also lifted to an angle where it would have been hard for him to properly see the indications through the head-up display, but he also had the normal primary flight display, the PFD, available in front of him. The first officer now realized what was about to happen and desperately started calling for the captain, trying to get him back into the loop. He called, "Pull! Pull up!" But at that point, the captain was likely so disoriented that he couldn't even hear him. He was now also pushing the rudders randomly in both directions, and doing that is something that has been identified as a sign of a pilot's complete disorientation. But the problem was that the captain was still inputting on the controls and also calling out random words, meaning that the standard pilot incapacitation definition didn't really fit and likely stopped the first officer from immediately taking the controls. Within seconds, the pitch of the aircraft reduced to minus 40 degrees with a speed of close to 280 knots. The first officer called out, "Be careful! No, don't do that! No, pull it! And for a short interval, it seemed to actually work as the pitch increased with around 11 degrees. Tests have later showed that if the recovery would have continued from that point, with the engines reduced to idle and the aircraft continuing to pitch up, the accident could have been avoided. But instead, the pitch down was now again resumed, and even though the first officer started pulling on his own controls, the captain continued pushing forward, which meant that it wasn't enough. The ground proximity warning system called out, "Terrain, pull up!" but it was too late. This system had been certified based on a maximum vertical speed of 7,000 feet per minute, but the aircraft was now descending with a terrifying 18,000 feet per minute, and still with full thrust set. The captain, with the last show of his complete spatial disorientation, now gave almost full left aileron, meaning that the aircraft started rolling rapidly. It finally crashed into the ground with a left bank of 60 degrees, a negative pitch of 50 degrees and a speed of over 340 knots. This happened at times 04, 41 and 49 seconds, only 59 seconds after the go-around had started. All 62 passengers and crew were immediately killed in the crash, which left a big crater in the beginning of runway 22 at Rostov-on-Don airport. The investigation found that the crash had been caused by the incorrect piloting and configuration of the aircraft, caused by spatial disorientation of the captain as part of a weather-induced go-around. This spatial confusion had likely been caused by a combination of the crew operating in the middle of the window of circadian low and an incorrect mental model of the captain, where he was prepared for either a landing or a wind shear escape maneuver, not a normal go-around. When the escape maneuver transitioned to a go-around without this initiative, he fell behind the aircraft and was just unable to recover. This was then further made worse by the incorrect handling and understanding of the aircraft's trim system and unclear company procedures when it came to calling out either a go-around or a wind shear escape maneuver. Somatogravic illusion could have played a part in the severity of the captain's disorientation, and lack of training in subtle incapacitation might have made it harder for the first officer to identify that the captain was completely lost. There were 26 different detailed recommendations issued from this accident, several having to do with crew training regarding upset recovery, especially in situations with real G-forces, as well as improving pilots' general understanding of the aircraft trim system. This has since been incorporated in both initial and recurrent upset prevention and recovery training, UPRT, for all pilots. The English level of the Russian controllers were also put under scrutiny, as well as the layout and use of head-up displays. And if you want to read all of the recommendations, I've created a document with all of them on my website, and you'll be able to find the link in the description below. Now, I hope my team and I have earned a subscription from you, and if we have, remember to select the bell as well so that you'll get a notification whenever I release a new video. Now, you can support our work by joining my awesome Patreon crew. You can also buy a t-shirt or just commenting on this video and maybe sending a super thanks. Have an absolutely fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.